This is going to be the first power mod that we're doing on this vehicle. I'm really excited.
Really, you're only going to need a couple simple hand tools, a couple zip ties, a little bit of 3M backing, and this is a personal choice. A small screwdriver and a 2.5mm Allen key.
White little pin to lock it in place. You'll hear it click in there. And that side is done. See what this thing makes.
Yeah, buddy.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Woo! How's it going, guys? Jared and Joe here from Lethal Performance, and today we're going to be installing the JB4 tuning module on our 2022 Ford Bronco Raptor. This is going to be the first power mod that we're doing on this vehicle. I'm really excited. Not really like this truck needs more power, but we like more power, right?
Of course, I always love more power.
All right, so this is actually the second JB4 tuning module that we'll be installing on a Bronco. The first time we installed one on my friend Chicken's 2.7 liter first edition, and that truck picked up some crazy gains on map 5. I believe it was 60 wheel horsepower, 90 foot-pounds of torque.
Damn, buddy. Wow. Damn. Wow.
Now, I'm not really sure what to expect with the Bronco Raptor, but the 3-liter twin turbo definitely likes more boost, and that's what this thing is going to do. And here it is, the JB4 tuning module, this cool little billet box inside of it, the electronics, and you've got a harness. This is going to plug into your factory wiring on the Bronco, and we're going to show you how it's done here in just a moment. This is the JB4 Bluetooth connection kit. I highly recommend this, guys, because the JB4 tuning module only comes with map 1 loaded on it. If you want to open up those other maps, you do need to download and purchase the app through the Apple iPhone store or for your Android. Now, this device will allow you to connect your phone to this box right here wirelessly through Bluetooth and make it very easy to not only data log, change maps, and other stuff like that. So this cool little Bluetooth device along with the app from JB4 will allow you to access all maps that they offer. Next up is this OBD2 connector, which will plug into your OBD2 port, be wired through the firewall through a grommet, and will connect to the actual JB4 module. And we've got some tools, some tape, razor blade. Joe, what are we gonna do?
So this is pretty much as straightforward as it gets on an install. Really, you're only going to need a couple simple hand tools, a couple zip ties, a little bit of 3M backing, and this is a personal choice. We found a good location to mount it that does require some sort of sticky backing to it to get it to stay there. Otherwise, a small screwdriver and a 2.5mm Allen key. We are choosing a set here of Allen keys with that on it. Otherwise, it's as straightforward as it gets. It shouldn't take us more than, I'd say at the most, maybe 10, 15 minutes just to install it, run some wires to the firewall. But otherwise, it should be easy enough to install right here in the driveway.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if for what these things cost and what they offer you as far as horsepower per dollar, it's an awesome product. We've used it before. Again, we sell a ton of these here at Lethal Performance, and they work as advertised. I mean, really, we take it to the dyno, it does its thing. There's definitely solid results to be seen from it, so let's go ahead, install this, and then tomorrow, after we're done, we're gonna go put this thing on the dyno over at Palm Beach Dyno, do some baselines, and then run through all of the maps and see what type of horsepower our Bronco Raptor makes.
Whew. All right, let's get it.
So the first step in installing the JB4 tuning module is going to be routing the wiring from the connector that goes to your OBD2 port from inside the vehicle into the engine bay. Now, how we're going to do that is from this rubber grommet that's located right over here on the firewall next to your brake reservoir. We're going to slice a hole in it with a razor blade, and then from the inside of the vehicle, I'm going to run this connector through that grommet into the engine bay. Then we're going to be mounting the JB4 tuning module right here with some double-sided tape on top of the fuse box cover. So it's going to be a lot easier to actually remove the grommet from the firewall, and then cut it, then replace the grommet back onto the firewall. Grommet, you're going down! There we go. Our blade wasn't cutting real well, so Joe took out his trusty old pocket knife, and well, you get the idea. There you go. So I'm going to go under the dash here, feed the connector through the grommet hole first into the engine bay, then we'll push the actual connector through that grommet, reinstall it. I'm going to leave us some slack so that we can actually tidy up underneath the dash with the wiring and don't have extra wiring in the engine bay. It'll be stored underneath the dash. There's got to be an easier way. There we go. There we go. Grommet is installed.
Next thing here, we're going to go ahead and install the data connection cable here to make sure that the Bluetooth works on it. That's going to require us to take the back cover off of the module here with a 2.5mm Allen key here.
Look at you go, Joe. Amazing.
Cranking.
Definitely something good to note for people interested in knowing more about the JB4 module. Being that it installs plug and play, it does not change anything with like your transmission shifting or anything like that. It's really just to give you increased throttle, increased boost, more power. It's not going to change any of your drive modes as well. So everything on your Bronco Raptor is going to function exactly how it did from the factory, except make more power. So when you do switch it into, let's say, sport mode or a different drive mode, it's just going to be that mode but enhanced with more power, quicker throttle response. Basically your drive mode on steroids.
All right, so now that we've got it open here, we can take this little plug out that is going to allow us a little spot here to run this wire into the plug that is inside of the JB4. Now this does come included with 2 Phillips head screws, which we're going to use to lock down the plug into the female end here inside the device so that it doesn't come loose and we wonder why our Bluetooth doesn't work anymore. All right, now that we've got that out, we can go ahead and screw it down.
Light pressure, guys. Yeah. Not too many ooga-doogas on this. Just pretty much hand tight for the screws that hold the data cable or the Bluetooth module to the actual board. And then when we close that box cover back up, same thing, snug by hand. No need to over torque it and snap a bolt or anything like that.
Exactly. Now let's go ahead and reinstall these Allen keys. These can be a little tighter than the actual board itself, of course, because it is going metal into metal here. Aluminum is a softer metal, but you know, you can give it a little bit more torque. All right, bam, you are now ready to put this onto the Bronco itself.
So we're going to be removing the negative battery terminal using a 10mm socket, just like this. All right, put that aside. All right. Something to note on the Bronco Raptor, which varies from the 2.7 and 2.3 liter Bronco, is that one of the sensors that we do have to access is kind of in a tough spot to reach over here. There's kind of like a little metal bracket underneath your intake pipe over here. So what we're going to do is loosen up the clamp for the intake, as well as this bolt right here, which will allow us to raise that intake pipe a tad, give us more access to that bracket, which we'll loosen up and remove, and then we'll have access to the connector. All right, that was an 8mm. Got that. I'll be using a 7mm over here on the hose clamp to loosen it up a bit. Doesn't have to be fully removed. We'll just loosen it a tad. All right. We're going to be using a 10mm socket to remove this bolt right here. We're just going to actually allow us to remove that bracket out of the way to unplug the factory sensor. All right, let's do it like this. Let's try and not drop this one. Right, Joe? Yeah. There you go. That's removed. Okay, so we're going to pull back on the white tab on the connector over here and then be able to give it a little pinch and should be able to pull it out. There we go. That's been disconnected. So we're going to take the 4-pin connectors right here on the JB4 harness, take that factory plug for the on the factory wiring harness and plug it into the JB4 just like this, corresponding side. That clips right in. The other portion of the JB4 connector, 4-pin one, will go right into where we pulled that factory connector off of. And we'll push that white little pin to lock it in place. You'll hear it click in there. And that side is done. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and reinstall that bracket back that covers up the sensor, and then reconnect the intake tube, make sure it's all secure, and then we'll move on to the next sensor that we'll be plugging into the JB4 harness. Got it. Joe, I need a little lube. There we go. I'm excited, man. The next sensor that we have to install the JB4 harness onto is the one located right here on your charge pipe before the throttle body. So we're gonna go ahead, same thing, pull back that white clip, press down on it, should be able to remove it. This is the 3-pin connector. So we're gonna take the JB side of things over here, plug it into the 3-pin connector, making sure it locks into place. There we go. And then the other side of it will install to the factory sensor. So we're gonna tidy up some of these wires using some zip ties to make sure that they look good and they're also out of the way. And then we'll move over to the actual mounting of the box with the double-sided tape on top of the fuse box cover over here. All right, so we're gonna be installing 3 strips of the double-sided 3M tape to the bottom side of the JB4 box. That'll help secure it over to the top of the fuse box cover over there properly. This stuff works really good. I haven't had any complaints at all. My friend Chicken runs the same setup. We installed it the same way with the 3M tape on it on his Bronco, and it held up great. And it's what we recommend our customers to use on it. Now we're gonna put 1 piece of double-sided tape onto the JB4 Bluetooth Connect kit, and then we're gonna mount that beside the JB4 tuning module. You do not wanna put it metal to metal. It could cause some interference, so we're gonna do it that way. Then we're gonna take the wiring from the OBD2 port that we ran through the firewall into the engine bay. We're gonna connect it to the connector right here on the JB4 box. It's got a clip on one side. Make sure you put it in correctly. It'll snap into place. Got that. Now we're gonna reconnect the negative battery terminal to the battery. I'm gonna go inside the vehicle, under the dash, tidy up some of that wiring that I said that was in there, and then we're gonna download the app on my phone from JB4 and start messing with the JB4 tuning module. Woo! Okay, so now we're gonna install the OBD2 connector into the OBD2 port, which is located just under the dash to the right of your hood release. And it's gonna pop in right there. Now I know how much room I have to play with this wiring under here. I'm gonna get it all secure underneath the dash, keeping it away from the accelerator and the brake pedal. All right, so we've got the JB4 tuning module installed on our Bronco Raptor. The next step is gonna be to download their app from the App Store here, just by searching JB4. It comes right up. And then we're gonna open it up. Since I had it downloaded already on my phone, just gonna open up to the JB4 app right there. And then what we're gonna do is connect the actual device that we have installed in the vehicle, because it's specific per actual unit. You need to register it. So we've got the JB4 app opened up here. We're gonna go to connect on the main screen, hit connect. It's scanning for the device. Your accessory power does need to be on for this, I believe. Awaiting handshake. Joe, gonna get a handshake? There you go. All right, and we're connected. There we have it. Time to fire it up. There we go, look at that. All real-time stats going on right there. We can data log with this. So I guess now it's time to head down to Palm Beach Dyno, strap this sucker on their dyno jet, do a baseline pull or two, and then start going through the maps from the JB4. See what this thing makes.
Yeah, buddy.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Woo! Wow, the JB4, man, is the real deal, dude. Just plug it in, make power. How about, let me get my step stool, Joe, because I'm a little short for something like this. The Bronco Raptor's so huge. The next,
All right.
Connect kit.
There goes Matt.
Really? In the
Yeah,
truck?
yeah.
All right. So, up beside it. Woo! Matt.
Damn.
All right.